Is a carnivore diet or a ketogenic diet good or bad for the thyroid? Let's find out. Welcome everyone, welcome to my humble channel. Now let's get into the thyroid. A lot of people out there have an underlying thyroid condition and they don't know it. So for those who don't understand this, the thyroid is a butterfly-shaped gland in the neck right there. And in my lifetime, I could be having a conversation with a woman and being like, her thyroid is bulging out of her throat. And most people don't understand that big, huge bulge right in the front of the throat. It's the thyroid and it's not a good look. So doing this video is very important because a lot of you have an underlying thyroid condition or you're already diagnosed and you don't know if fasting or keto or carnivore is the right choice for you. The true answer is that ketogenic and carnivore diets can be good and bad for the thyroid. And I want to break down what makes the thyroid tank on these diets and what actually helps the thyroid. Now, years ago, Jimmy Moore did a video saying that you don't need to eat carbs for the thyroid because a lot of people will tell you if you do a low carb diet, you're going to tank your thyroid hormones. And in some people that's true, and in some people that's not true. Now, if you're in ketosis, you will get glucose for your red blood cells, for your thyroid, through gluconeogenesis. Nobody's blood sugar is going to be at zero. Your body has the ability of breaking down amino acids, proteins in the body, and converting it into glucose for things like your red blood cells, which your thyroid needs. That's covered. You're good. Why are people's thyroid tanking on these diets? And that is because they actually don't get into ketosis. It takes a long time to properly, fully adapt where your body is running mostly on ketones rather than the inverse. A lot of people doing these diets will never reach ketosis. And over time, you start to see those symptoms of not adapting. So basically, you're driving a car with no gasoline or just on fumes over and over and over again because people stuff a bunch of protein down the gullet, which I've said in so many videos, you can't get glycogen storage in the muscle from protein if you're doing carnivore. You have to be adapted. And then I'll get these smarty pants comments in my comment section. People do not understand. They're like, well, you get fat and meat. It's not enough to adapt. And to achieve the amount of fat that you need to get into ketosis, people keep eating gobs of protein to try to get the fat in, like a ribeye. No, that's where the rendered fat plays such a massive role. If you're going to do a carnivore diet, you have to make it ketogenic. Again, if you're doing a carnivore diet and you're eating tons of protein, you don't have the ability to make or even utilize the ketones because that protein, the excess protein, is going to spike your blood sugar. This mistake happens to so many people who do carnivore. Their thyroid tanks, perhaps not in the beginning, but over time they start to notice their hair starts falling out. Their skin becomes very dry. They might lose their cycle. They might have chronic heart palpitations. And a lot of people, they don't know why they don't have or why they're having palpitations, because you can have palpitations from dehydration, which also happens often on a carnivore diet, but it really happens to the thyroid. The thyroid, when you're having low T3, then people start to get those awful thyroid symptoms. And they could be just underlying. You don't even notice them until a year passes or 2 years of doing carnivore. So you want to avoid this by eating high fat and not protein. I cannot stress the importance of becoming ketotic on a carnivore diet, which really means these people have to watch extremely. You have to watch how much protein you're taking in. I mean, every gram matters when it comes to making ketones. This is why I say start at 200 grams of fat, and it's really 200 to 300 grams. I don't care if you're gaining weight or if you are dropping weight. I only care about your body making ketones and using them, because if you start having problems with your kidneys or your gallbladder or your pancreas, or having this high iron because your body has leaky gut and you're not adapting so the gut doesn't seal up. I mean, I could go on and on. Now, it doesn't matter if it's keto or carnivore, not getting into ketosis. Did I say ketosis? Ketosis. Not getting into ketosis over time will tank your thyroid. It just does. And it happens to ketogenic people as well. Hair starts falling out, heart palpitations, dry skin. A lot of people have the symptoms of like they feel like they're crawling out of their skin, depression, and then ultimately people are not losing weight. Yeah. And even if people are doing lean meats on a carnivore diet, they're not getting into ketosis. They'll drop their calories. They will fast. They'll eat lean meat, and the hair falls out even more. All right, I'm going to talk about how to do a ketogenic diet or carnivore diet without tanking the thyroid. All right, number 1, moderate to low protein. Under 100 for men, under 75 for women grams. That's total protein, not weighted protein. Number 2, balance your electrolytes. Super important. Number 3, you have to eat organ meats because you need, or shellfish, you need iodine, selenium, you need zinc and copper, and you need vitamin D, and you need vitamin C to get T3 into the cell. So if you're doing a bunch of ribeyes, it just doesn't have enough. The animals who are grazing are not getting the minerals from the soil like they used to. So these culty carnivore people are like, you get everything from a ribeye. And I'm like, keep doing that. Keep doing that and watch over time. But a lot of people who've got an underlying thyroid problem, which a lot of people do, men as well, you're eating a bunch of ground beef and ribeyes, that's going to make your thyroid tank. It's not going to have enough vitamins and minerals that you need for the thyroid. And then there's getting into ketosis, right? When I say moderate to low protein and eat high fat, then on top of that, you have to get your stress down, because you can make sugar just from being stressed through gluconeogenesis. If you don't sleep well, that's another very important thing. People are using carbohydrates to fall asleep because it makes you hypoglycemic in some people. Then you cut out the carbs and now you can't sleep. And that's when you're making thyroid hormone. That is when you're making ketones. So all of these, like 10 things, must be done all at once. You can't just do 3 and heal the thyroid. You need organ meats, liver, or you need shellfish. Oysters have all of those. The iodine, the selenium, the zinc, the copper, the vitamin C, the vitamin D. Liver doesn't have the iodine, so then you could mix liver with kelp, seaweed. You cannot do a dominant in kelp without the liver, because you can't have iodine without selenium. So get off of the Lugos. Iodine, this stuff is poisonous because iodine must balance with selenium. And some people might say, oh, you're ridiculous. But I've worked with women who've developed thyroid nodules and a swollen neck because they're doing the Lugos. Yeah, and it's dangerous. It could be leading to cancer because you're not balancing iodine with selenium. They must work together like sodium, potassium. Other things that help the thyroid is to eat every 3 hours. Every 3. Yes, even if they're very small meals, eating every 3 hours in the beginning really helps the thyroid. Get your ass outside and get some vitamin D. You need this so much for the thyroid, which is also going to help you sleep better. You really have to learn how to breathe properly and exercise. So breathing is going to help balance cortisol rhythms, because when people don't breathe, the cortisol's through the roof. Exercise, a lot of people are not exercising with intent and excitement. If you're doing a low carb diet and you're not adapting and your fats are moderate and you're not working out, the thyroid tanks. I've seen it over and over and over again. The amount of DMs and comments on videos saying, why is my hair falling out? Or on my course, because I have a course and we're having massive discussions about the thyroid. You have to exercise. You have to get the right nutrition in. You literally have to go to bed early and connect to a circadian rhythm and sit on the frickin' ground and start to do the grounding. But one of the major things that you need to do is connect to a circadian rhythm. And if you do all the right things and you adapt, the thyroid is like amazing. People notice that if their period is gone, it comes back. If they're having difficulties losing weight, now they're losing weight. The hair starts growing back fully on a ketogenic protocol when you're in ketosis, doing keto or carnivore, when you do all those right steps. And I hope this helps, and I'm out. Comment below, do you have a thyroid condition? Are you hypothyroid? Are you hyperthyroid? Do you have Hashimoto's? Because that's a whole nother video, how I think that all of the Armour and the Synthroid and Thyroxine are garbage. And you have to keep titrating up more and more to feel somewhat okay, but then over time of being on these meds, you're not okay. Have all the correct nutrition, line up all the ducks, and work hard to connect to your body. A lot of you don't. You sit wrong, walk wrong, breathe wrong, exercise the wrong way, and that alone, just the whole connection to the body, is so important for the thyroid. But getting into ketosis really, really helps balance that blood sugar. And you have gluconeogenesis on the positive side for the red blood cells. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. My website is stephanieperson.com. And I'm out because I got a lot to do. Energy. 56. Woo! Time goes by.